How's it going, my roadies? This is Randy, the REI Rockstar real estate investor. I have a great video for you here today. It's actually a walkthrough in our system of us doing a deal from start to finish. So I want you guys to check this out. It's absolutely amazing to be able to just lock up contracts and flip properties. So I feel really blessed to do this business, and I want to show you the last one that we did, or my team did. Now, I've blocked out a couple of pieces of information. Obviously, I respect the seller, buyer information, and my team too. So I filled that all in with my name and info. But let's get right into it. If you don't already know about me, visit the blog. It's the reirockstar.com. There you can even get some free tools located here and some contracts and some other free stuff. And it ensures that you get the information right away, like these awesome videos. So let's get into the deal. So these are some screenshots of the system that I use. It's called Podio. And for this particular deal, we've already closed it. But you can see here, we got it a while ago. Today, we're in February 2nd, 2017. We actually got this deal last year from a bird dog. So someone had just recently passed away, mother and father, ended up going through the probate process. When the seller called us, they actually didn't know what was the case, like if it was in probate, was it out of probate. So acquisitions contacted them, admin get in touch with them, got all the information, and found out that, yeah, we can definitely help this seller out by providing them a realtor, I'm sorry, an attorney. And the probate attorney, those folks aren't cheap. They're a pretty penny. It could run anywhere from $2,000 to as much as $5,000, depending on how the estate is settled. So the seller was very happy to hear that we cover that as part of the sales transaction. So here we have the department and the deal status. This helps us understand at any point where the deal is in the pipeline. And as we change this, it actually updates. You can't see it, but in the system, it updates automatically in the buckets. So our team just kind of works them back and forth. It can go up or down in the buckets depending on what they change here through analysis and all that good stuff. So lead source was bird dog. The lead list does not apply. And the next piece of information we see here, the admin person in our company actually, let me put this on a slideshow for you guys. The admin individual will actually contact the seller and get some pertinent information about what's going on, basically the information about the house and whatnot. So you can see the seller here. Let's get this going. Was admin loan info. There we go. Sorry about that. So you can see the seller's info is right here. They cut and paste some information over from Zillow just so our acquisitions has it. They get the email address, they confirm the phone number. So that's very important, guys, so you can keep in communication with the seller. So seller's name was Linda and their two parents had passed away, got the phone number and the email and a little information about the home. So after they get off the phone, the administrator goes to work and they start gathering information, some due diligence on the property, like the zip code tracker, so we know what deals are in the pipeline. When our buyers call us, we can tell them, hey, we have some other deals in the zip code coming down the pike. We get the APN number, very important for contracts and also for the end buyer, for them to do their due diligence. We also look at the previous sell date. Originally, this property was bought in the late 60s, it looks like, and they bought it for $13,000. It is occupied. We found out that the family members were actually still living there and they weren't paying any rent, and the house was kind of in shambles. And we get some very just pertinent information, guys, that'll help you structure the deal. We find out if it's in an urban area, suburban, industrial area. We know that it's a single family as opposed to condo, townhome, or whatnot. We know its usage is residential. And then the typical bedroom, bathroom square footage is all right here, even taxes and HOA, all done by our administrator. We also look at the condition, and of course, we try to get an appointment date so we can have our estimator go out and figure out what's going on with the repairs. We did not collect the loan information. Sometimes you guys can do wraps, takeover payments, owner financing, all that good stuff, subject to. That's where the loan info goes. But in this case, we won't collect that information until acquisitions relooks at it and says, okay, that's something that we're going to take over payments on. So that's why that's blank there. So no loan info. Now, here's what happens. The repair estimator goes out and they actually gather all the repairs. So if you're in this industry and you're using a price per square foot calculator or something like that, that's good. That should give you some idea of the repairs. But I've gotten to the point where I actually order an estimate on every property. You don't have to do that, but boy, does it make my numbers solid. And I can use this for my buyers, properties on a silver platter for my buyers. So In this case, there was a lot of work here. Now on the seller side too, just a little nugget, this helps you negotiate with the seller as well. Imagine calling the seller back and saying, hey, I'm actually only going to offer you 70,000 because your property needs $14,031 in repairs. Huge. Um, we get two estimates, by the way. We get one for rehabbing the property, and we get another for basically just kind of cleaning up the property and making it rent ready. Um, Huge right there too is, let's imagine the homeowner doesn't like your offer. Well, you can go back to this repair and offer them, in this case, it was a $7,000 difference. That $7,000 could prevent you from getting a deal, getting a contract. So in that case, just offer a little bit more, and instead of doing the fix and flip strategy, do the buy and hold strategy. Line up a buy and hold buyer. Again, just another nugget for you guys there. All right, so repair estimate comes in, we attach a contractor to it, we upload both repair estimates here, and these are actually filled out automatically. The system automatically tags it based on the condition of the home, and it will calculate based on its current market or ARV the estimate of repairs. And it was pretty spot on. It looked like a 10% factor here based on the ARV. That would have been about 13,900, right? And that helps us kind of gauge before we get the estimate what offer is going to be, so we can talk a little more about that with the seller over the phone. And then look, the repairs were $100 off. So um, even if it was 1,000 off, that's super good. So rebuild cost we get from ordering a homeowner's insurance quote. All homeowners insurance quotes have rebuild cost, and we take about 70 cents on the dollar of that because if the end buyer ends up being a contractor, they are obviously going to be a lot cheaper than a full-on insurance company replacing the home. We really don't use this much, but it is data that's there on every deal. All right, next it goes into property analysis. So this deal came in, or rather next on the property analysis, this deal came in and we looked at the rent rate too to see what kind of cap rate it would be and what type of investment this would work out for a buy and hold buyer. So you can see the average rents was $1,097, which is pretty good for a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So next thing we did was we got the analysis part for the comparative market analysis. That gives us our current market value and our after repair value. So we know that if this was fully fixed up, it definitely would be over 140,000 in value. And knowing that, if you take that times 70 cents on the dollar, that's 0.7, minus out your repairs, you're going to get your actual offer. And the reason you do that is 30% of those costs are going to go to realtors commissions, holding costs, closing costs, recording fees, all types of different fees. And then of course your end buyer has to make some profit. So you want that 30%. You're welcome to itemize that, but the 0.70 rule works really well with the ARV minus your repairs and your wholesale fee. And that's what we see here. My software, REI AutoComp, does that, tells us what to offer on the deal. And it even gives us kind of a soft pass when we talk to the homeowner. If you're dealing with a personality type where the homeowner's like, I just want to know my number. I just want to know what you're going to give me. Great. Well, we're going to give you something between 58 to 77,000 if it's a cash offer. Something more than that if it's a situation where we can go ahead and take over payments on your home. So that was super helpful. In fact, I actually called this lead on my own and locked it up because it was a probate deal, and I'm just somebody that's a little bit more keen on these on our team as we're still training our acquisitions. And yeah, I was able to explain everything to the homeowner and offer her. I think originally I offered her 59,000 over the phone and said I'm assuming 18,000 in repairs, and she was still open to that. But we ended up offering her somewhere around 75, I believe it was. So again, guys, I mean, this is a solid neighborhood. You don't see this dropping dramatically. In fact, it's gone up about $4 over the year for a 12-month median sales price. And the average price per square foot came up 10, 11 bucks there, $13. So this is a great neighborhood. Properties typically sell for 105 to 150. So knowing our minimum allowable offer and maximum at 75,000 offer, we're one of the cheapest houses in the neighborhood. So this would fly off the shelves. All right, so let's move along here. Property analysis. Okay, so we got market rent. We take everything from the reports and we place it into the system so that somebody who's working analysis or working acquisitions doesn't have to go to 5 different places. Everything's in Podio. The analysis outcome became excellent, and you can see our desired profit we wanted to make about $11,000, and I think we hit that. Here is an awesome negotiation tool. So we have a sale calculator that will tell the homeowner about what they will net if they sell the property. So when you're talking to a homeowner, if that homeowner is constantly using the, rebuttal that, hey, I'm just going to list the property, I train my acquisitions team to vet the sellers and say, hey, Sally seller, why don't you just list this property? They need you. You don't necessarily need them in terms of that, but you want to find out that they need you, that it's a good fit, right? Because if they don't, you're really just kind of not being respectful of each other's time. So we painted a picture for her, and again, I took this call, called her back once analysis and everything came back through. I did the acquisitions, and I called the seller and said, "Hey, Miss Seller, yeah, I think the property's worth about 100 grand, 95 to 100, minus out your repairs of 18 grand. So, if you sell this on the market for 100, somebody's going to offer you about 95. You're going to have to pay the agent's commission of 5,900 bucks. The holding costs, if you have a mortgage still on it, is going to be 2 grand, or insurance or taxes, which taxes, those get taken out at the close of escrow for the next quarter or so, or the previous quarter. And then you have your actual closing costs, which is typically closing costs for the attorney, closing costs for recording fees, title fees, your Alt-A policy, all that stuff. And then your title escrow fees, that's another 5%. So you're going to net about 80 grand, 80 to 85. Now, with that said, my offer is 75,000. Would you like to go ahead and take advantage of 75,000 now, or go ahead and put it on the market and sell for 120 days from now for about 5 grand more? Totally up to you. And when you put it like that, you'll sift through the sellers who are serious and which ones aren't. So huge nugget there, guys. Build a sales calculator. If you have just a regular calculator, you can do this on the phone with the seller if you don't need something fancy like this. I just have it in there for acquisitions. So here's something that's, I guess I can call it proprietary to our company, is we actually have a presentation for the seller. So you can offer over the phone, you can offer in person, obviously, and there's probably a different close rate between all of those, but we found that when we tag the person, we build a relationship, and we provide them all the information they need, and then rather than send them a purchase contract and a verbal, we'll actually send them an offer and then call them about the offer. So acquisition steps in, emails them over the offer and says, when do you want to discuss this offer? Okay, so that's what this website is we actually have a portal where they log in, they see our all cash offer versus the MLS listing. So the reason why this seller liked this offer was because they saw there wasn't a big difference here, and they can get the cash in 12 to 14 days versus 6 months, or who knows, 3 months, 6 months, who knows? I mean, there was a lot of repairs on this property. So we show them the gross and the net so that they don't bark necessarily at the differences of, well, I'm going to list my home for 99, I'm going to get a lot of money. Well, no, you're not. You're going to close 90 days later. You're going to pay all those closing costs. You're going to pay for the repairs. You're going to deal with, we'll probably add a star here for unqualified buyers, right? So this just paints the picture for them. There was no terms here. We didn't discuss terms, but we also offer terms if somebody's open to that, and we'll build that in there. All coming from REI AutoComp, by the way. All right, and then there's the offer widget. So our enter exit strategy. So we decided to do a wholesale offer at 70 cents on the dollar. Look at that ARV percentage. We are at 0.52 of ARV. Our buyers love us. We give them real meat on the bones. We aren't wholesalers that mess around. We give them properties they can actually make money on. So cap rate is strong too. You almost have 8% cap rate on a 1,000 square foot home. That's awesome. And then we'll show the cash flow and things like that. But remember, guys, we're not taking over payments or anything. And our end buyer is a fix and flipper. So the negotiation comes in. So these are just kind of little tips that help us understand the seller a little more and what angle to kind of approach them. In this case, they have inherited the property, they don't live there, and there's tenants in there that they're not getting along with. Okay, so that's a motivated seller. We know that there's 5 to 10 in repairs. We know that it fixed up it's 140. They think it's worth 99, and we've already talked them down to 69. And they said there's a little wiggle room. So these were all good signs that this is going to be a deal. So move down to some additional information about negotiations is you have to find out what they're going to keep and what they're going to sell with the property. So, hey, are you going to include the dishwasher, stove, whatever it may be, laundry, rather the clothes washer, dryer, that kind of stuff. And here's something that's huge. If you are taking over payments or doing something like in that nature, sub 2, You need to find out if they filed bankruptcy, they've had a claim, if there's been a loan modification. You need to know the history of the property a little bit more in depth. You should always ask these questions anyway. We don't really have our admin do it because it's more high end in terms of like answering those questions and figure out what's going on. The admin just gets due diligence. Acquisitions gets those higher end questions that need the resolve of, well, tell me about the bankruptcy. When did it discharge? Tell me about the loan mod. Is it still in force and all that stuff? Do you have an ARM loan? Those kind of things. And we asked them how soon they need to close. She answered 14 to 31 days. That's perfect. And you can see our offer gap is only 8 grand. So the difference between what she would get and us, again, is only $5,000 to $8,000. That's a good sign. When you have such a small gap like that, the ability to close, this calculates, by the way, automatically. Most of these do, in fact. But our team's able to just look at it and go, wow, this is going to be a deal. Let me call this seller. They're obviously more motivated than the other deals in our pipeline. Here's our soft pass again, which we got from REI Auto Comp. 70 to 83,000 is how much we can offer and still make profit. Now, keep in mind, they accepted 74,500, I believe it was. So we hit them at 72.3 and they negotiated 74.5. And you'll see that here, we planned on selling it for 83, but all we did is because we bumped up our offer price 2 grand, we bumped up our sales price. So we actually sold it for 85. And I'll show that here now. So acquisitions too is here's the link to the live offer. They'll send that to the homeowner. They'll make that offer right here and they'll put it in on the portal for the seller. And then they check off that they talked to them, they sent them an email, and they sent them a contract. Now, in our portal, we actually let them download the contract, sign it, and upload it right back to us. So it's all online. Like they don't have to really do much in terms of getting notary or going to a bank. It's all, they can do this at their own residence. We check it off, it was accepted, and the contracts that were needed were just a standard purchase and sale. We did not use our contract creator in this case. I wrote it up myself, but if we wanted to put all the information in and click a button, it will generate the offer. But I just wrote it up myself. Funding, this wasn't important here. So in my company, I always decide, am I going to flip a property? Am I going to take it down this way, that way? Sometimes I'll borrow private money and take down the property and fix and flip it ourselves. In this case, I was just going to wholesale it. So not a lot of information here, but I actually strategically will decide, am I going to go get a loan? Am I going to pull this out of our corporate checking or whatever and do a deal that way? So this helps me calculate what our profits would be if we took down the property ourselves. So we put it back on the market, guys. So we put it out there. Nice website that has all the information that's needed, tons of pictures. And it went pending like the same day. Like I think I put under contract that morning and sold it later, under contract technically that afternoon. So it went off the shelves, and it should. Your property should go this quick. That's why you shouldn't have to worry about a buyer. If you do the due diligence part, all the before steps properly, you won't have to worry about getting a buyer. So this property is a true off market. I put the year. Think about it like a car. Year, make, and model. How much equity might be there, the rents, give them all the information, and we give them links to the information. I can't scroll down, this is a screenshot, but we give them all the information they need. $3,000 EMD, proof of funds so nobody's messing around, and we can go from there. So this person ended up giving us a $3,000 EMD that day. Here was our Craigslist flyer. This is the disposition side, who we're marketing to, fix and flip, our resale price. The inspection period would end here, and boom, we have the EMD that was received. Dispositions did all this marketing here: Facebook, online classifieds, our company website, and email blast. And I think they also called a couple of our other investors, but it sold. New investor, by the way, to us, sold right away. And then we updated on the website, accepting backup offers. I did the escrow, did all that. I didn't have to go anywhere. I just signed all the documents here at home. Eileen took care of everything, our title agent. And then we closed it, I believe it was on Monday, Monday the 23rd of last month. So let's kind of do the math on that, guys. So we got the deal in September, sent them over our probate attorney, explained that we're going to take care of all those costs except for the initial retainer for the attorney. It was only $500 for the attorney. We covered all those costs. It was an $10,000 spread, so we were happy to cover that $2,500. And we hooked up the deal to our Dropbox down here. You can see all those files in there. So the lead came back to us when it came out of probate, and she got the green light to sell. So we locked that one up. And so less than 13, 14 days later, from the time we put under contract mid-January till this date here, right? There was our net profit. So after all said and done, that 10,000 minus out closing costs and the payment to the attorney for 13 days work, I was probably just myself two to 3 hours into the deal. That's well over $1,000 an hour. How would you like to do that yourself? So hope you guys enjoy this video. That is a probate deal start to finish. That's how I was able to make $6,789.64 in less than 14 days. We'll do some more case studies as they come through. These do take a while to put together, so my other videos, I just kind of do them on the fly, but all these screenshots and all that do take some time, so I'll try my best to keep some quality videos out there for you guys. In the meantime, like and share this video, and check out the website so you can join the newsletter. You'll get these videos first. Definitely pride ourselves on having the best information out there without holding anything back, so that's what we're known for at the REI Rockstar blog. Have yourself a blessed day, and take care.